who versus how. This is something in my own life I'm really trying to learn better this year, not just for flipping, but for everything. Like, it's not always how do you do it, but who is going to help you do it. It's not always how do you do it, but who is going to help you do it. Because if you want to get scaling to do 10 flips at a time, you better not be doing hardly anything yourself. You better have a team and a system and a process that will help you do that. Otherwise, I mean, unless you want to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's just not going to be possible. So what does that mean? General contractor. You know, I was talking with Josh's partner, Trevor, yesterday, and flippers, we always have this conversation. You know, it's like, okay, that plumber can't get out here for 3 more days, or he could get here today, but he'd be like an extra $100. I could probably just go change that toilet, right? I could probably just go do this. I could go mow the lawn. You know what? I have stuff in my house, I'll just go stage it, right? No, you gotta find someone else that can do that kind of stuff. So are you gonna use a general contractor, or are you gonna sub it all out yourself, right? These are like the questions that are gonna be never ending talked about in the flipping world, is how do you get the job done? Are you hiring like a handyman that can do everything? Do you need a permit? How are you gonna handle that? You've gotta figure that out, and you've gotta figure out a process and a system that's gonna work for the different level of complexities of homes you're working on. I think if you're dead set that you are the contractor and you're gonna do the work yourself, you maybe need to plan on doing really high-end flips that you might do 1 or 2 in a year that you have a huge margin on. But I just don't see a way where you can scale and do a lot of flips at a time when you're involved in doing the houses. Now, on the back end of my business, I'm not great at finding other people to help, because I tend to like, oh, you know what? I'll send that email really quick. Oh, I can reconcile this account really quick. Sure, I'll put together a spreadsheet really quick, because that's more natural for me. But it would take me probably 3 days to change a toilet today. I have 0 skills when it comes to actual remodeling. Thankfully though, I know that, but I'm way better at, hey Tony, how you doing, man? You're a great dude. Okay, come in here. I can paint the vision and then get him to do the house. So everybody's gonna have strengths and weaknesses. And so, you know, delegate and hire out as much as you can. Permitting. Who here's ever been red tagged on a house? Who here's been red tagged on a house, but then still gets red tagged on another house? Who gets red tagged multiple times over and over? I have, right? And so finding that general contractor to pull a permit is painful for a lot of flippers, because you don't want to go to that step. You don't want to have to deal with it, but then it's even worse when you have to deal with the city. So I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, because I've definitely done houses that should have had a permit, and I didn't get a permit, and I was fine. But I've also had houses where I should have got a permit, I didn't get a permit, I got caught, and it goes back to my prior slide. That's another one of the reasons why I lost money on houses, because it delays things way longer, in my opinion, to get red tagged than it does to be thinking about it up front, plan ahead, just commit to like, this house needs a permit, have a plan on who's gonna help you with that, get the plans drawn, get it submitted to the city, off and running. Since I've learned that lesson on my higher end flips, I don't even skip a beat. Like once I have that house under contract and I know I'm committed, I have the floor plan drawn. Most times I have the permit and everything in hand the day I own the house. And so it doesn't slow us down. Dallas.
Do you ever go to the city first, before?
You mean as far as like ask them if I do need a permit for the house?
Or just like preemptively saying, am I gonna need a permit on this? Or not need one, but what's it gonna look like? Say you're doing like a major remodel.
Yeah, if you're on the east side and you're opening up walls and doing a beam, get a permit. Like that's my opinion, because the other thing that slows you down when you don't get a permit, when you know you should need a permit, is you're doing all that crap of like, okay, everybody park 4 blocks away, you know, wear a disguise, walking up to the house, cover the windows, right? Because you're hiding, you're trying not to be caught, and it just slows you down, right? Like just figure out your process and go for it.
And higher end buyers, if you're doing higher end stuff, they're gonna want to see a permit a lot of the time.
They are,
You can
right?
get away with it, but
permits suck. I mean, it's part of the game, it's part of the rules of the city. But then, how many times when you've got a permit on a house, like you're so boastful, it's like, permitted house, you know, like, so it gives confidence. There's those other reasons, like I said, like you don't want to always be having to create some weird story. And then when you do get caught, you always look stupid when you're like, oh yeah, I'm living in this myself. And they're like, yeah, but you're living in 4 other houses at the same time. It's like, okay, like, anyway. So, this is another big one. Well, here, number 4. Some people just don't have the stomach for flipping because there's twists and turns, right? Like, my house where I didn't have a foundation, I was just like, oh, how stupid am I, right? Like, you got to be willing to accept the unknowns and know that there's going to be twists and turns. There's going to be great twists. Josh was just telling me about a deal that, you know, they didn't think they were going to maybe make as well as they did, but they totally crushed it. I've had that, but I've also had where it's like, you're just as happy and excited to lose 40 grand on a house just because it's done and over with, right? So you've got to be okay knowing that this is a very imperfect game, but if you play it long enough and if you play it smartly, you are going to come out ahead 100%, unless you just love making bad decisions and not learning from your mistakes. I see this all the time too, what sells versus what you like. Don't try and flip the house for you to live in. Copy what other people are doing. Look at your comps, see why those houses are selling. It doesn't matter if you pick the same tile, you know? Like, I've gotten to the point now where I hire out a designer and, you know, I have my contractor and we lay it all out from day one. Like, we're putting this tile in here, and it's not because of what we like, but it's because of what a designer that knows the market trends or like what we're seeing in other houses. I know when I was in different partnerships, and hopefully other people have experienced this, but you know, you get your personal preferences in the way and it causes friction and maybe some little arguments where it's like, no, we should do Botany Beige. And my partner would be like, no, we should do Desert Fawn. And then my other partner would be, at the end of the day, there are 3 colors that no one would know the difference between the 3 of them. But, you know, don't get stuck on like what you like, get stuck on what sells. What sells.
So then how do you find a designer who understands like an investor and not like HGTV? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's a great question. It goes back to who versus how. So I can share some recommendations with you after. So my cousin, she's been doing it for me. And again, it goes back to the other slide, learn and network. You know, I'm a part of as many groups as I can be that I can give my attention to, all the different RIAs, some private groups that are focused on flipping. And there's just, people go to those groups with different skill sets and you'll find the right person to help you. I generally don't love Facebook and stuff like that much, but as a real estate investor, it's pretty critical. There's a ton of good information if you can weed through all the bull crap that's on there, you know, and the negative stuff. But there's some good people on there that don't cost that much money that can help you. And then even, I mean, the simple answer is who's ever you're gonna have stage the house, someone like that probably has the skills to help you figure out, you know, what colors and stuff like that. And then if you can set up the template once, you only have to set it up once and then you just modify it. You know, and you guys that flip, you know, maybe the first time homes, you don't, like, you just have to come up with the same scheme once and then do it 10 times. It gets boring for you, but it's not like you're gonna have the same buy your house over and over and over again, you know? So as long as it works and it's selling, stick with it.